was this cosmic giggle from the cosmos that in a huge voice said to me, that is what happens when you put on the brakes, you fly out. And so it was this experience that was really interesting of just when we are in the big roller coaster of transformation of life, if we want to put in our own little personal brakes of that cart, we're going to feel like we're just flying out, kind of an experience. If we allow ourselves to go where the roller coaster is taking us while staying inside of our little cart with the seatbelt on, right? And having all the feelings that are coming, the laughters, the giggles, the fear, all of it, then we're in the ride. And in a way, there is something about that that is very much the liminal time. And I feel really applies to these times because astrologically, in terms of the sky story, there are so many energies happening at once right now, that, as you know, you've heard probably many astrologers and myself speak about them, that I find that the lunations, the relationship dance of the moon and the sun, can give us a sense of a cycle and a time inside of that larger liminal space of transformation of all these bigger transits, that we are navigating in with the Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn conjunction that I've been speaking about in Capricorn, and then Neptune in Pisces, right now squaring the Mercury Venus conjunction. So there can be a lot of sense of confusion, disorientation with some of those transits, but there is also massive opportunity happening where this week I was having a really deep personal healing experience, and I really was getting this experience at the same time while I was navigating all the grief, all the pain that was coming through, of just the incredible collaboration and cooperation that these transits, these energies, these allies, these external helpers are wishing us well, are wanting us to transform, are wanting to help us, are wanting to really be in co-creation around this time. And the invitation for that, obviously, again, I say this every time I speak, depending where we are in the storyline. Right now, there are as many storylines as there are humans, as many experiences as there are humans. And for some, all you can be focused on is how are you going to get your next meal? How are you going to get shelter if you just had to leave your home? And then for others, you might be sitting in deep healing and contemplation at home. You might be with family in a big explosion and crises. You might be in the biggest love affair of getting to know each other better. So, and that a million times into human ways, and also the ways that we each respond to things. So I always want to mention all of that, that I'm not at all underestimating that each experience is unique, and that there is also a lot of privilege in being able to sit and hold the experience of consciousness and invite transformation when we are able to. And also it requires commitment and deep inner work. So it's all part of the big soup we're in, right? And part of this big liminal space we're in. So I hope that as we hone into the new moon, today I am sitting half an hour from the new moon, so right in it, and I love that I'm getting to express Gemini, new moon in Gemini, and connect with you, also Gemini, as I share some of my thoughts and invitations for you to create a space today, tomorrow, even the day after, inside of this time of the new moon, to go inward, to take some deep breaths. Gemini is an air sign, so deep breaths are really helpful. And invite that vision that I often invoke during the new moon of the great vastness of the night sky, The new moon is when we are apparently not seeing the moon. The moon and the sun are completely together in the same degree. And so it's an invitation inside of that vastness to allow ourselves to be held and fall into what it feels like to drop into the vastness of the universe, of the great mystery of the sky, and allow it to hold us so the fertility of the newness can arise. It is an opportunity with every cycle in the new moon to plant new seeds, to reset. Sometimes just even having our hands on our belly, on our heart, take a deep breath and just say, okay, whatever has been going on, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to start again. I'm just going to start again. Whether we are saying it to a conversation with a dear friend, with our husband, mother, partner, lover, daughter, sons, the world, and just take that breath and say, okay, humans, let's start over. Let's take a breath and begin with a new story. So Gemini has all kinds of interpretations out there. Some of you might know it from the sign that can be kind of, some people even, it has a bad rap for being kind of flirty, too superficial, playful, or that kind of too detail oriented or not too much, or but I want to focus on the piece on some of what is the core essence of Gemini. Gemini means twin, gemelo. And in most of the mythologies of the world, the myths of the twins is always two different polarities of the duality, right? It's the light, and one of them is living in the higher worlds, one is living in the underworlds. One is the light, the other is the darkness. One is the rational, one is the other, one is the intellect, the other is the emotional mind. So there is always somewhat of an experience of duality that happens with the expression of the twins. And it's, and I like to speak about this because the invitation of Gemini is actually to bring forward how can we find that union of the duality. How can we navigate with spaciousness? It is a sign that is the lover of spaciousness, of freedom. And so how can we enter a space of freedom in this time? It could even be an invitation to try to find that inner spaciousness inside of ourselves, inside of our heart, inside of our mind, to create new stories, to find that third, to find that focus space, to invite a new story, to open our imagination and inhabit that place of fertility that I was speaking about with the new moon space, with the great mystery. And and inside of that space of fertility, of vastness, invite a new space that goes beyond that polarity. If, in case you're interested, my dear friend and teacher Mark Borax, you can find him on Facebook, did a really beautiful invitation through the. Right now we are going through the and I'll include it here in the newsletter as well. But we're going, the north and south nodes moved into Sagittarius and Gemini, and they will be there for some time. And so it's, he does a beautiful, in his cosmic weather report, invitation into what this means. And in this lunation of the new moon right now in Gemini, and the full moon will be in Sagittarius in a couple of weeks. So we're really sitting inside of some of those insights that he shares in his teaching around, he really invites inside of that nodal journey to show up as the magical beings that we are. And I loved that invitation. Gemini has an intuitive spontaneity to it. It also has a levity, a lightness, a playfulness to it that is important as well during these times. And so it can be also about connection. It can be about communication, about really checking in to where do you need to check in about the places where you might have gotten polarized. Am I with this team or with that? Am I with this view? Do I believe this view or that one? Am I this party or the other? Am I choosing this or that? And the experience that I've been having through having some of those experiences in my life right now, personally, and also in our collective, is to keep doing the breath and really center in my own heart. So from that place of the deep heart can come the intuition of where can I find center and focus. And from there, then look at all the outer tensions, polarities, paradoxes, and find that third, which often comes from the newness. A dear friend posted this morning, I'm trying to look for it so I can read it to you all, this really inspiring poem, I thought, which is written by someone called Courtney E. Martin. I like to quote her first. And it says, this is your assignment. Feel all the things, feel the hard things, the inexplicable things, the things that make you disavow humanity's capacity for redemption. Feel all the maddening paradoxes. Feel overwhelmed, crazy, feel uncertain, feel angry, feel afraid, feel powerless, feel frozen, and then focus. Pick up your pen, pick up your paintbrush, pick up your damn chin. Put your two calloused hands on the turntables, in the clay, on the strings. Get behind the camera. Look for that pinprick of light. Look for the truth. Yes, it's a thing. It still exists. Focus on that light. Enlarge it. Reveal the fierce urgency of now. Reveal how shattered we are, how capable of being repaired. But don't lament the break. Nothing new would be built if things were never broken. A wise man once said, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Get after that light. That is your assignment. That is our assignment. I loved this poem. I think it really sums it up. It sums up the Gemini moment, right? So feel it all, whatever it is for you, the light, the darkness, all of it, this liminal soup we're in, and then invite your creativity. Invite how you want to play with it. Invite how you want to co-create with it. And start simple, start small. So many of the groups I do that are about creative expression, people come in feeling like, oh, I don't have time, I don't have an hour, I don't have this, but what I keep proving over and over again is the soul gets happy with so little. Just put on a piece of music that's going to change your mood, take a deep breath, have a moment for a scribble, take your camera out with your phone, go smell a flower, and just that can ignite that shift. And then inside of that, doing some of these practices can be so helpful. So I wish you well in this new moon. I look forward to hearing how it goes for you this new cycle from now the new moon into the Sagittarian full moon. Feel free to listen to Mark's sharing about the nodes in this Sagittarian Gemini time. I think it will be very inspiring and helpful. It's in the Facebook Cosmic Weather Report page. And yeah, feel free to join us in the Alma que Canta page. And I still haven't been able to schedule any breath work. I am still percolating how